on, guys? Welcome back to Do Watch This Shit. So the primary genesis of this channel started from just a ridiculous amount of people telling me that I should start my own movie vlog. So here we are. My true passion is film. I have a fucking deep affinity for film, good or bad, don't give a fuck. I just love movies, and I want to share my love of what I think is wonderful. You might end up thinking is dog shit, but you never know until you take that leap. Some of you are here because you trust my opinion, whether or not you're shooting yourself in the foot with that fucking notion. We're about to find out. I wanted to start a series today that focuses on films that I believe are underappreciated, underseen. So today I wanted to present you guys with the first 5 films. This isn't any particular hierarchy. I just wanted to share a first batch of films that I think you should see if you really want to develop a love for cinema. Some of these films don't have the best Rotten Tomatoes scores, but I also think Rotten Tomatoes is fucking dog shit. I firmly believe in withholding an opinion until you experience something. That's why I watched the first Twilight movie. Beautiful cinematography. The color grade is fantastic on that movie. However, everything that resides within those cinematic walls is a fucking cinematic abomination that shouldn't exist. Somehow they made fucking 5 of them. I hear they're even getting ready to reboot that franchise. So what the fuck do I know? So without further ado, here are the first 5 films that I think that you should see. The first one I want to bring attention to is 1991's Toy Soldiers. Features a young Sean Astin, planted firmly between the Goonies and Lord of the Rings. He kind of had this weird valley where he made some pretty wild flicks, but this to me is the best fucking thing he's done in that gap. In Toy Soldiers, Colombian terrorist Louis Kelly takes an American prep school hostage as a means of gaining his drug lord father's freedom. Privileged yet rebellious students Joey, Billy, Snuffy, and Hank find that they are better equipped to deal with the threat than the mostly ineffectual government agencies sent to rescue them. With the resourceful Billy as their leader, the students struggle to defeat the terrorists and save the school. This film features a standout performance with Andrew Divoff, who's better known as the fucking Wishmaster, playing an international terrorist, fucking shit up. Everyone in here slays their role pretty brilliantly. Even Keith Coogan, who some of you guys will know as The Dishes Are Done, Man, from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. This is a great fucking movie. It's got all this wonderful 90s cheese that you would expect from something that you would find on the video store shelves in the early 90s. It was a flick that I loved so much growing up. To me, this was one of the things that was brilliant in the 90s, was these completely fucking outlandish scenarios that were brought to fruition on these screens, big or small. Louis Gossett Jr. is also in this, tears it the fuck up as the headmaster of the school, post Iron Eagle, still killing it as a complete badass. This film is available on Amazon right now for about $16. Unfortunately, you need an all-region player because it's only available from the UK, from the 101 Films Cult Movie Collection. But if you are getting serious about being a collector, I would highly advise getting a region-free Blu-ray player, because there's a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about on this channel, but you'll most likely not be able to get from the States, licensing issues, whatever other bullshit that they come up with. I'm not sure where you can find the streaming. That's going to be on you guys. That's your homework. I'm only going to tell you where to buy it because physical media, dog. Fuck. All right. Now that I got that out, I will always sing the highest praises for Ryan Gosling, and that is because the first film that I saw this kid in completely fucking blew me away. It's my second favorite indie movie of all time, just behind Brick. That is 2003's The United States of Leland. In The United States of Leland, a withdrawn young man, Leland Fitzgerald, is imprisoned for the murder of a mentally disabled boy, who also happened to be the brother of his girlfriend, Becky. As the community struggles to deal with the killing, Pearl Madison, a teacher at the prison, decides to write about Leland's case. Meanwhile, others affected by the murder, including Becky and her sister, Julie, must contend with their own problems. The cast of this film is insane. Got Don Cheadle, Ryan Gosling, Chris Klein, Jenna Malone, Lena Olin, Kevin Spacey, and Michelle Williams. Like I said, this is one of Gosling's earlier films. It's his second leading role. Early in his career, he did this batch of indie films. I'm going to cover most of them on this channel that are completely fucking astounding films and flicks that I don't understand how anybody who has any sort of an inkling of appreciation for him hasn't seen. Most people I know are familiar with like Lars and the Real Girl and shit like that, but it goes even farther back. I really feel that these earlier films that he did completely eclipse most of the shit he does recently. It's great that he's broken out and become this, giant world-renowned actor, but everything that he did early on in his career, like I said, is the reason I've been championing this guy forever, and why Drive was such an easy film to love. This one is available on Amazon right now for about $22 on DVD. The Blu-ray's 31. I'm unfamiliar with the label, so I haven't bought it. We're still kind of in that era where random labels can put something on Blu-ray and it could just be a really shitty upconvert. So until something comes out that can top this DVD, I'm really hoping that Second Sight or somebody will get their hands on this and put out a 2K or a 4K scan of it. I think this is a truly astonishing film, and the ending will completely flip your mind in on itself. Can't recommend enough. Should be on your shelf. Why do I keep saying can't recommend enough? Next up is a film that's absolutely in my top 10 films of all time. It's 2005's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, written and directed by Shane Black. You might know Shane Black from a couple of like small independent films, one called Predator, another one called Lethal Weapon. Surprisingly, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is his directorial debut, which he will move on to do another flick that he wrote and directed that we're going to cover in another episode of 5 films that I think you should see. In Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Robert Downey Jr. plays two-bit crook Harry Lockhart, who stumbles into an audition for a mystery film while on the run from the cops. Winning the part, he lands in Hollywood, where he's flung into a tangled, murderous conspiracy with his childhood sweetheart, Harmony Lane, and hard-boiled private eye, Perry Van Strike, who also is Harry's consultant on the film that he's supposed to be a part of. I think this is one of the most phenomenal films ever made, soup to nuts. Wall to wall, this film is unabashedly fucking amazing. The performances, the writing, the cinematography, the score, everything nails high water marks in this shit. I cannot stress enough how wonderful this movie is. You can also thank this movie for every fucking MCU movie you've seen in the last 15 or so years. Jon Favreau saw this film and immediately saw Robert Downey Jr. as being an action star. Favreau then screened the film for Marvel executives, who were completely taken aback by Downey's performance, and greenlit him to take on the role of Tony Stark and Iron Man, which arguably springboarded the entire fucking universe. So you can thank Shane Black, Robert Downey Jr. for all of these magical fucking flicks that we've had over the last 15 years. This film is available on Amazon right now for $16 on Blu-ray. Once again, not sure about the price of DVD. Again, can't stress enough. If you love film, this needs to be in your motherfucking collection. Absolutely. We're going to steamroll that one. Keep it within the early 90s here with 1990s Pump Up the Volume with Christian motherfucking Slater. This dude was a fucking pinnacle actor in the late 80s, early 90s. You could almost guarantee that if he was in it, you were about to see something that was fucking fantastic. There's going to be a lot more of his shit on this channel. This is the first one I wanted to dive into because this is by and large my absolute favorite Christian Slater movie ever made. Pump Up the Volume is set in Arizona. In Arizona, an introverted and insightful teenager, Mark Hunter, finds an outlet for his viewpoints through a shortwave radio. Broadcasting his Hard Harry or Happy Harry Hard-On, he uses his pirate radio show to rant against the injustices and hypocrisies taking place in the area and in greater society in general. Hunter conceals his off-air identity, but a determined student discovers the truth, while the principal of the school seeks to shut down Hunter once and for all. This is going to be a hard movie to probably watch with your kids or anybody who's young who has no fucking idea what censorship is like in the 80s and 90s, where you couldn't just go on YouTube or satellite radio or any of the streaming services and hear all this amazing music that wasn't making it out to the suburbs. Early punk, early hip hop. This film really encapsulates what it was like to be in this generation where these sorts of things were throttled away from you. And when they did eke their way into these suburban areas, they exploded because of the oppression, just the sincere impunity that these children felt from the adults who felt like they knew what was best for them, but was able to find something that spoke truly to their soul and opened them up. And this film is a great shining example of what that era was like. And here's Howard Stern in this essence of like this punk rock DJ who just wants to completely abolish any sense of rules and the bullshit that people were throwing into your faces back then, making you feel bad if you appreciated anything that they deemed vulgar in any way. This film is just 2 giant fucking middle fingers to that. Stellar performances from Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis, who would go on to make 2 more flicks together after this. Samantha Mathis, also known to you probably as Princess Daisy from the brilliantly awful Super Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins. This flick is available right now on Amazon for $21.99 on Blu-ray. Not sure about the DVD. However, once again, streaming, not sure where it's going to be. That's on you, baby boy. Let's get on to the next one. Now we're getting into some pretty fucking dark territory. Brad Anderson's 2004 accomplishment, The Machinist with Christian Bale. To me, this film is a fucking mile marker in independent cinema. Bale lost about 63 pounds to put on this role of the haunted Trevor Resnick, who is an insomniac and his life is completely fucking falling apart and he has no idea why. I should probably actually talk what the movie is about before I get into it. The Machinist is about factory worker Trevor Resnick, a nod to Trent Reznor, as writer Scott Kosar loved Nine Inch Nails, wanted Trent to score the film, but Anderson ended up vetoing it, who suffers from insomnia so severe that his condition has taken its toll on his weight and his mental health. While Trevor unintentionally causes an on-the-job accident that horribly injures a coworker, he begins to become even more troubled. Despite a relationship with Stevie, a very pretty prostitute, Trevor descends further into paranoia, blaming his problems on an enigmatic... Why can I not say that fucking word so well? Enigmatic. Yeah. Blaming his problems on an enigmatic figure named Ivan. Yeah, going back to what I was saying too about him losing 63 pounds. This was in the stretch of films that Bale did where he would consistently lose a tremendous amount of weight to do this film, and then he put all that weight back on to do Batman Begins, and then he lost all that weight again to do Rescue Dawn, and then put it back all again to do Dark Knight, leaving doctors to tell him he needs to cool the fuck down on doing this. These dramatic changes in weight nearly killed him. This was something that, to a fault, made me very much appreciate the early works of Christian Bale because of the devotion to his craft. I've loved the guy since American Psycho. I followed his career steadfast since then. This is also available on Amazon on Blu-ray for $21.99. I can't recommend this flick enough to people who love this man's body of work. It's a tremendous accomplishment in that parade of films that he did, especially throughout the 2000s. And with that, guys, we got to the end of another one. Don't forget to like this shit. Subscribe to it if you haven't yet. Helps me out in the algorithm. We're going to keep pumping these fuckers out, and then you'll be able to get hip to all sorts of wild shit you've never heard of before. And I want to turn you into the movie nerd of your friend group. Per usual, guys, let's keep physical media alive. Share this with a friend who you think needs a better taste in movies. Leave a comment. What are some of your favorite independent films? Or what are some of your favorite early performances from actors who were huge today? Thanks again for hanging out, guys. We'll see you on the next one.